But with that being said, that's all I have for you. So I'll pass along the tea tree. Take it away.
Hey everyone, thank you for that, Kuritas. This is
Parking
Garage
Rally
Circuit.
Circuit.
It is a 3D racer in the vein of Daytona USA or Sega GT Rally, but every course is a parking garage and it has a very active physics engine. And that's pretty much the long and short of it. We'll go ahead and get into it. We'll be racing the USA circuit, which is currently the all tracks. Although Walliver, the developer, and Australian Gen 2 is a pleasure to be around and is often streaming dev stuff on his own Twitch, is also adding a Europe circuit. So soon, all tracks will be more gaming. If you'd like to see what we have going on in our modded Saturn on the mod circuit with the Steam Workshop community, you'll have to get your donations in. We only have, I don't know, about 12 minutes, depending on how things go. So we'll just go ahead and get right into it. We have our different classes. I didn't necessarily plan these for Pride Month, but you can make your liveries and your color choices for your cars whatever you want. Today we'll be racing the Ultra class Alta Forte Z, which has the highest top speed, but also tends to do the craziest things when you smash into stuff. So wacky physics incidents are quite possibly inbound. Time will start as soon as we get the go on the learning garage. Let's get to it. Just like in Mario Kart, we have our little turbo boost if you press the gas down at the start when you hear set. And we are already off in the learning garage, which is arguably like the second hardest course in the whole run, just because of how relatively small the course is. So you are very close to obstacles at all times. Gonna have to take this curve a little bit slow. I managed to not burn out my my turbo boost behind me, which is fortunate. If you either press the handbrake on X on the controller and the input viewer you can see next to you, if I do that for too long, I can lose my boost, or if I brake too sharply while I am making these handbrake turns. It is also entirely possible, like you see me braking a certain kind of way up and down slopes. That is because the aggressiveness of the car is strongly influenced by how fast you are going when you go up or down a slope. We are already on lap 5 out of 5 on the training garage here. This is the only course in the game, or was the only course in the game, where each car class has to do a different number of laps. Now we're on to Mount Rushmore. Mount Rushmore has a parking garage, so of course we're going to drive around in it. This is the first track with some skips in it. You just saw me take a skip there, and there's going to be another one. I'm actually going a little slow, but okay, that'll work. We make our jump up across the side of the ramp rather than up the ramp and into the garage, back over for lap 2. So there was one boulder on lap 1. I wonder what will be waiting for us on lap 2. Hopefully nothing will be getting in our way if I do this right. Ooh, okay, all right. The angle of the car was a little squirrely, but that went about as well as it could have, all things considered. And in terms of number of tracks, we're technically already a quarter of the way through the run, but we have plenty of time. Veritas, is there anything you want to talk about while they get to listen to the first vocal track in the game?
You bet I do. I don't want to talk over the vocals too much because I love this soundtrack. But we have some donations to read off. I have $3 from Cell, who says choo choo, or should I say zoom zoom. Thank you for those $3. And I also have $25 from Illegally Sam, who says cargo fast. I think that's exactly what we're seeing here.
Do if I do it right.
Oh, yeah. Okay. If you do it right, which you're getting there.
Yeah, I mean, that one, basically, I knew I wasn't coming full speed around that last turn, so I decided to try and make a shortcut for future laps instead. But this car class in particular is rather aggressive with how it interacts with obstacles. So if I had tried to slam into those yellow barricades at full speed, the odds that I would have kept the car on its wheels would like vanishingly small. But you can see now that I have that corner cut available to me for the last couple of laps here. Thank you so much for your donations, Cell and Sam. I appreciate you very much. Congratulations, Cell, on the nail-biting fight to the finish on Dicey Dungeons. Okay, see, that's the kind of thing I was talking about, and it actually worked out pretty darn well. So
yeah, congrats on that.
There's some content for you. That was certainly not how I planned it, but what run can go exactly the way you plan it, right?
Yeah. I also want to mention we are $37 away from seeing more of this happen. So,
wonderful.
Folks, if you Yeah, if y'all want to get like a $3 donation train started, Cell gracefully kicked us off with those $3. We would make that incentive in no time flat. So maybe we can get that started.
Yeah, you're gonna have to race me to the finish. It's not a long
Yeah.
run. You can see that on your screen already.
Exactly. Who would win? The donations to $100 or T-Tree finishing this run?
Indeed, a handful of generous donors or one speedy, non-binary colored car. So the big thing with Seattle Airport, you've technically already seen, it's the corkscrews going up and down. If you've ever been in an airport that has these sort of corkscrews, you kind of can tell how precipitous these turns are. Shout out to Boston Logan Airport, which absolutely has up and down tunnels very much like this. Did not slow down quite enough. Oh, that's unfortunate. Going up that last ramp towards the end of each lap, you're definitely trying to keep your speed low enough that you don't slam into the overhang, because that's what happens if you do. So that basically means, unlike most of our tracks, it means our second lap is basically just going to be a repeat of the first lap, because we don't have the additional speed that we would have from executing a clean finish to a previous lap, but that's okay. We'll have to play this a little bit by how it looks. Typically, if you're on a good cycle, the path to get through those kind of baggage trolleys is predictable, but obviously since we lost some time at the beginning of lap 1 there, had to make some adjustments, and that's like kind of a staple of everything I run. I run a lot of roguelikes, I run a couple of racing games, so it really helps keep the parts of my brain that like having something to do and stay on their feet. It helps keep those activated, that I'm playing games where one little change, indeed, like in this game, if I make a single boost around the corner instead of a double boost, that could hypothetically change how I take the entire rest of the current lap. So that's the kind of action that I like in my speed games that keeps me active. But, you know, if you want to donate and tell me what you like about speed games, what you like about what you've seen during Prevent-A-Thon so far today, we'd love to hear that. Bit of a nasty curve coming around there. I actually kind of got through that a little too cleanly, which means it didn't slow down my... Alright, we're just going to take the normal version of this. I meant to go the other direction and skip the part where the lightning strikes the transformer, but we're going to take lap 2 with just our headlights instead, because I did not have the ability to turn around. So this is the intended way the track goes. If you make the curve kind of like cloverleaf towards the inside, you can keep full visibility on this second lap here. I'm just going to trust my muscle memory here and not do anything too differently based on what I'm seeing. Good, we managed to go over that barricade without it getting in the car's way, and during one of my practice runs, I hit a barricade at what seemed like a very reasonable speed, and it just completely sent me flying. Sub 120, not so bad. I'm happy with that. Curitas, anything else for us?
Oh, you bet I do. I have $50 from Mel with no comment, but thank you very much, Mel. That puts us over our incentive, so we are going to go for bonus tracks for Parking Garage Rally Circuit. Congrats, everyone.
Tremendously generous of you. Thank you so much. Yeah, these are going to be a lot of fun. They're not parking garages in large part, but they're tracks from, in a lot of cases, famous racing games that the Steam Workshop community took to the very fully featured. I've taken a little time to tool around in them, but the modding tools for this game are quite impressive. So there's going to be tracks from, and Curitas, if you can help me choose them when we get to the picker, stuff from the likes of Crash Team Racing, Mario Kart Arcade GP, Banjo-Kazooie. There's a racetrack based on a game that's definitely not a racing game, but that you'll get to see the sequel of later in Prevent-A-Thon, Banjo-Tooie with Ad 129.
It would be my honor to do so. Let's see those tracks at the end.
Yep, Chicago Marina has gone relatively cleanly so far. This is actually the transition between laps 1 and 2. If you noticed, I had a little billow of black smoke come out of my tailpipe at one point. That was me intentionally pressing the handbrake while not doing a handbrake turn to try to slow down my momentum, because that is the safest way I know to make the start of lap 2 more consistent. Otherwise, you're trying to do a handbrake turn around that really tight intro while going like 130 kilometers an hour, and that's just a recipe for disaster. Welcome to SGDQ. This is the the Minnesota Mega Mall. Not necessarily Minneapolis, but that is where the Mall of America lives. It's the weather's a little bit different than you're likely to experience at SGDQ. So if you are going, don't worry too much about that part. But the parking garages are definitely true to life.
Are you referring to the size of the parking garages?
A little bit of everything. I don't think this is based on an actual parking garage. As I said, the dev is Australian. Funny enough, the band. Oh, okay, that works. That works. We do a little rolling as a treat. But yeah, the band. I don't know how the dev and the band know each other because the band is from Denton, Texas. You'd have to look it up. I'm trying to remember who they are, and the name is not coming to me. I'll remember as soon as the run is done. But they do a lot of video game cover music and like some of it in like punk and ska styles. So I think that makes the vocal tracks they do make a lot more sense. We're gonna have one more coming up after this. Braked a little bit too much around that last curve, so navigating the roof of the garage here is gonna be interesting. I'm gonna try to do our skip here because I think I can go slow enough to not go flying off the edge. Well, I thought I could, but I was mistaken today. That's okay. Thankfully, rolling has an interesting property where if you are doing a handbrake turn into a roll and you get back to handbraking soon enough after rolling, you actually keep the like level of boost you had. On into the final track of the run, Liberty Island. This is our other vocal track, so sing along if you know the words, and you don't, so just jam out and enjoy yourselves. I want to give a shout out to, again, Walliver, the devs. Really fun game from what is largely a solo dev team. Also, the maker of such games as Replicube, I think is his newest project. Jelly Car Racer on Steam is a game that I know a lot of other people knew and like didn't know that these two games were technically related. And also to the many speedrunners of this game. This is technically kind of more an IL focused game in that you can see when I finish each level, it's giving me a time that compares to my PB. So there are people in the speedrunning community who have made like a spreadsheet that collates everyone's in-game PBs to make an overall leaderboard, which is really cool of them. There's also technically like versus-based multiplayer. Don't worry, this is supposed to happen. That's good enough. I'll take that going into lap 2. And yeah, shout outs to Prevent-A-Thon, to RPG Limit Break, to Games Done Quick, to all the groups that have had me run with them, volunteer with them over the years. This is arguably the position in anything to do with marathons that I do the least, but I'm always excited to be able to show off fun games and make silly things like that happen. So thank you very much to everyone for the opportunity. Of course, this is not all. There's also going to be a community showcase, but we're going to have an interesting time navigating our way around this track. Getting back up to speed for the Rainbow Road portion is important because that really dictates how we take the jump, which is the biggest obstacle on this whole track. I think this will work okay. If you have to brake too much, you can also spin out towards the front of the car. You saw it really put its nose down, and that will also kill your boosting momentum. Thankfully, that didn't happen, and that little run into the wall there was actually short enough that it didn't also arrest my momentum. So we're coming up to time right now. Not a fantastic final course, but a lot of fun. That was Parking Garage Rally Circuit's USA circuit. Thanks to your generous donations, that is not it, and that is not all. Let's take it over to the mod circuit. Same car, a lot of silly stuff. I actually just downloaded this one because I went and checked the workshop just now and saw that this is available. So why don't we make this our first course of the showcase? I have never raced this before, but you know, it's the Princess's Secret Slide, right? You know what it looks like. Oh yeah, also people can
How hard could it be?
Right, people can also make custom music tracks, so. This is actually not the in-game music, or the Mario music, which is what I was expecting. Oh. Okay, you know what? No, I don't know how that was gonna end. I was gonna say we take this. Oh my gosh, it's a whistle version of the Secret Slide theme. I just heard the whistling in the music. That's terrific. But yeah, as it turns out, as you've just noticed there, your handling is actually really squirrely when you're not braking. Okay, good. I think. Okay, you can skip that portion. It looks like there was also a ramp over that, so maybe we'll take that for fun next lap. And now we're going back up. This is great. I love this. Sure, okay. Wow, this is a single lap. That's fun. But yeah, this lap, track did not exist like a week ago, the last time I checked the workshop. So community is always hard at work. If this game seems of interest to you, I can't recommend picking it up strongly enough. It's just a lot of fun to tool around with. It's the kind of game where you can play for 5 or 10 minutes at a time, or you can do what a lot of us ILers have done over the year, over like the weeks this has been out, months maybe, and absolutely drop hours at a time into a single track. Let's see if we can do the same thing we did on the last lap, but better. Now that I know the shape of the track. Any other announcements you'd like to get in while we're doing this incentive, Kuritas?
Sure thing. Just one quick thing. If you'd like to know more about Little Warriors, which is our charity we are running in support of, you can type !info in chat. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for all your support.
Yes, thank you very much to anyone who's been a part of this in any way. Whether you're watching live, watching a VOD later, whatever the case may be, we appreciate you and your participation in Prevent-A-Thon so much. Okay, that's an obstacle. I didn't notice that was the case on the first lap, although I guess I should have. It was what kind of sent me around into a tailspin. Alright, let's go ahead and finish up strong here. We'll pick a shorter course for the next one. Most of these workshop courses that I've seen have been shorter than this. That may be the Banjo-Kazooie one. Whee! All right. That's the ending theme you get when the run doesn't go very well, but also a lot of these don't come with gold split time, so you're just going to hear that anytime you finish a provided or like a user-made course. Anything look good to you? We got our Crash Team Racing levels. We could do Green Hill Zone from Sonic. I think you saw that the last time we worked together on this run.
I sure did, yeah.
Hey, look at what? Let's do Mario Beach. So this is from a Mario Kart game. Shout outs to Mario Kart World, but this is a Mario Kart game that you won't have seen before in all likelihood. This is Mario Kart Arcade Grand Prix, based off of I think it was like GameCube era. I forget exactly what the name of Nintendo's arcade platform was. I think it might have been like through Bandai Namco. You know, Nintendo wasn't exactly making arcade cabinets themselves after the 1980s, but they did show up in arcades a handful of times, and this game in particular was definitely one of those. So this is like meant to be kind of the beginner course for this game, but or rather for Arcade GP. But the fact that it's such a wide open course means you can really build up ahead of steam. So let's see if we can do that over the remaining 2 laps here without driving off the course. All right, we take the speed penalty. My goodness.
Still right on track. He's doing good.
Yeah, no, nothing's taking us off track, which I'm genuinely very surprised didn't happen on the last course there. The fact that I managed to catch myself in a precipitous situation immediately after rescuing it the previous time was, I couldn't have scripted it out like that.
You really did come in clutch there.
I might have to put the brakes on these puns if you're gonna get that far out of gear.
Right. Oh, all right.
It might just be a differential of opinion. Yeah, that was genuinely terrible.
That I appreciate it. That was a good one.
This is what happens when you make me try to be clever while I'm also speedrunning.
I mean, I still love the way you're framing this situation, though. You're doing good.
All right, let's take it to... Okay. Oh, gosh, there's a cool mountain version of the slide. I didn't even know that was there. Well, let's go ahead and do... I'll see if I can get my redemption on... Where did the Banjo-Kazooie level get off to? Did I, like, hit too many in the... Interesting. There might be a limit to how many you can have at once. Oh, well. Over to Green Hill Zone it is.
Yeah. There we go.
This is definitely a legally distinct interpretation of Green Hill Zone. Please don't tell Sega. Honestly, the trickiest part of this course is the fact that these wooden bridges, you have absolutely no grip going over them. So You basically have to say to yourself, hey, okay, I'm effectively putting the controller down for these parts, and whatever happens will happen. Okay, we crossed it. I'm surprised that didn't happen sooner too, because the object lesson there is as long as you've crossed the checkpoint, you can just hit the reset button at any point, and that'll save you in place. Like, that'll just take you back to that checkpoint. So in cases where you completely crash across the checkpoint, it's still good. The run is still valid and can continue. See all of our favorite Sega friends. Yeah, this is gonna go too far. But can we rescue it? Enough.
Doing good, doing good. May I jump in with a quick incentive here?
Absolutely, I was just going to ask.
Ah, absolutely, yeah. So we have just opened a new incentive. So this is for Peggle Extreme. If you want to see a bonus Scott % run, we have just opened up that incentive. Our goal is $75 with it. So if you want to see a bonus run after the end of regular Peggle Extreme, now it's time to donate towards that.
Ooh, that's unfortunate. If you saw what happened while Curitas was reading, it's actually something that happened the last time I ran this, which is that my finger accidentally grazed the Y button. We're just gonna take that grace period offered to us. So I accidentally reset myself, and then the next time I went around the track, it didn't go so well. I'm going to imagine we're pretty close to our 10-minute estimate here. No, it looks like we're to 7 and change. All right, we can get another course in. Yeah, I wanted to show off Banjo-Kazooie, but either it's been removed from the workshop or something else happened, and you know, that's the nature of the game that lives on the internet. So let's go ahead and get some Crash Team Racing in while we're here. Unfortunately, the boost pads here are just for show. It might be possible for them to be actually programmed in for real in the future. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, you absolutely want to see that Scott % run. The thing with a Scott % run is that it is a modifier in Peggle, technically a cheat, you know, for the sake of how it's entered into the game. But the fact of the matter is, it makes the game run at several 100% of its default speed. That wasn't supposed to happen. So yes, Satan's going to complete the entire game again in like a handful of minutes. It is the equivalent of just like full sending your run, but with the kind of control that only a Peggle master can exert over the game. So you absolutely want to see that. I cannot stress that strongly enough. Trying to make sure I have enough speed to make a clean jump at this. Okay, the answer was yes, but just barely. Yeah, that aggressive falling here is actually something that can be programmed onto the track, which I kind of wished it had been a little more aggressively there. That was unexpected, the way the car moved around just there. Right, bringing in for a clean finish. I did try the skip, which is actually something you can also do in Crash Team Racing. Coming back around into the castle near the end of the lap, you can try to take that little ramp that comes out of nowhere and will get you to the edge and like towards your next jump much faster. I'm not going to give that another go in lap 2 because I do not want to waste people's time, you know, especially so we can get on to more runs in the marathon, because I think we are clean to finish up here. And to thank everyone for watching Parking Garage Rally Circuit and Prevent-A-Thon, thank you so much for your generosity in letting us show off this extra incentive as well. Thank you, Curitas, for your hosting. Unless there's anything else, that's all my time. Please keep watching Prevent-A-Thon for more fantastic speedruns.
Folks, everyone, give it up one more time in the chat for a T-Tree. Congrats on that Parking Garage Rally Circuit run. Congrats, everyone. Thank you all for donating towards that bonus incentive. We love those bonus tracks. Thank you all once again. I'd like to mention real quick, we have 2 incentives open at the moment. We have a bid war for Impossible that's coming up in like 2 minutes. That closes at the end of the run, but that run itself is starting in 2 minutes, so now's the time to donate for that. And we have Peggle Extreme, which is coming up in 37 minutes with another incentive for a bonus Scott % run. You heard from a T-Tree about the incentive for that, so now's the time to donate. But we're going to take a short break and then get into the runs again. So hang tight, everyone. We'll be back shortly.